Most people watched the fight, but almost no one looked beneath the arena. That's where the Spoliarium lived, a hidden world under Rome's Colosseums, cloaked in shadows and silence, a place of sweeping brutality. But few truly contemplate it. What was the Spoliarium? It gets its name from the Latin spolium, meaning spoils or plunder, a corridor beneath the amphitheater, reserved for gladiators who didn't make it out alive. They were dragged there, sometimes barely, alive, more often dead. There, their armor and weapons were stripped, returned to proud owners, or repurposed for the next bloody spectacle. And their bodies, left behind, a divide between life and death. Here's the chilling part. The arena roared with bloodlust, the crowd on its feet. Every strike echoed. But just below lay the Spoliarium, an echoing empty chamber, littered with discarded bodies. Gladiators entered, as warriors. They left as discarded shells. The stage above celebrated glory, but the stage below spoke of Rome's indifference. What really happened to those bodies? They didn't receive names or burials. They became tools of disposal. One chilling fate thrown, body and soul, to wild beasts waiting behind the scenes. These animals fed on the fallen, while the crowd roared. Another fate, tossed into mass graves, dug far from the city's heart. No family, no ceremony, no prayers, just earth. Rome didn't hide this. They didn't glamorize it. They treated these men as tools, except when they didn't. There were exceptions. Gladiators who struck fear or love into the hearts of Romans earned something more. Survivors with a string of victories, legends who defied death, or those the public simply adored. Some received what Rome never offered the rest: personal burials, honor, even tombstones. The Gladiator cemetery at Litero archaeologists once uncovered a necropolis near Annapolis called Litero. Here lay 20 to 30 graves, most sodden with dust and neglect. But one stood out. A marble funerary inscription dedicated to a gladiator. Someone once fought and was honored. They didn't vanish into the Spoliarium. They were remembered. The symbolism hits hard. The Spoliarium wasn't just a storage pit. It was a statement. It revealed Rome's highest values: entertainment over life, victory over humanity. The masses cheered above, and that cheering was a public show of collective dismissal. They cheered the fight, but what happened afterward? They looked away. They didn't witness the extraction of bodies, the disrobing, the feeding of remains to beasts. They only remembered the spectacle, and that says more about Rome than most monuments ever could. But let's never miss the human moment, because buried beneath this brutality was a man, a son, a gladiator who once laughed, who once dreamed, who once hoped for more than the next match. He fought for survival, for freedom, for glory, but ended in silence, his last breath unremarked. Let's talk emotion. Imagine being that gladiator. You stand in the center, shields clash, steel strikes. The crowd is deafening, victory seems possible, and then it ends. You fall. Maybe you see the Spoliarium's entrance, and just like that, no fanfare, no cheering, no funeral, just oblivion. How Roma saw. Gladiators, Rome loved its heroes brief and brutal. They wanted spectacle, not sympathy. They wanted legends, not the lonely, broken men behind them, because empathy was expensive. And gladiators, they were expendable, just actors in a grim play. When they tumbled, they disappeared like props that wore out. But the exceptions, they blew my mind. The ones who survived and charmed the crowd began to stand for something more. They became exceptions. Greek rhetoric praises them. Pamphlets eulogize them. And for those rare few, Rome offered dignity in death. What if they'd all received honor? Pause for a moment. Imagine if every gladiator received a funeral, a name, a stone. If the Spoliarium had transformed from a pit of waste into a hall of remembrance, would that have changed our view of Rome? Would it have softened the crowd? Would it have reminded them of the men behind the blood? This isn't just history. It's a reflection on how society values life, on how we worship entertainment, on how quickly we forget the human cost. Through social media, through viral moments, we chant, we cheer, we share the spectacle. But what comes after? What happens when the thrill fades? What stories get buried in the silence? Time to reflect. The Spoliarium still lurks in our imaginations. It's whispers beneath every viral video that sacrifices something for views. It's the moment we scroll past tragedy. It's the silence we leave behind. When we care more about the thrill than the fallen. This hidden chamber haunts us across centuries. Did you already know? Drop a comment. Did you know this place existed? Would knowing what lies beneath change the way you watch? Before you go, if this moved you, smash that like button. Subscribe for more unsung stories. Ring the bell so you never miss what they didn't want you to know.